and welcome back to Raccoon Creek Homestead. We are going on a goat date. So Mocha back there is not impressed with being in the car. I don't blame her, although I have been trying to drive extra careful, which I swear makes it worse. Can you say hi? Hey! Aurora also says hey. We are, I swear, I'm driving like super it's because we're going over railroad tracks and then a stop sign. But we are driving an hour and a half for her goat date. This is the farthest of the 3 breedings that we will go. I'm not gonna lie, this makes me want to have bucks in-house more than ever. And I totally don't mind driving to get them bred, but I'm hoping that it takes the first time and I don't have to do this again. With Mocha, she's been on her second date with the same buck. I don't know if it took yet. Nova was very, the word I want to use is, I don't know if it's YouTube appropriate. So she was very excited to go on a date, and she was very pushy about being bred. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, Mocha has been, which obviously not now. Oh, look, a bridge. Water. Sorry, it's like you have to point it out to kids in the car, and since you're in the car with me, you get to point it out. Hey, we went over a bridge of water. But yeah, we are about 8 minutes from our destination, and yeah, sorry, I had to look both ways before crossing the street. Okay, but as I was saying, Mocha has twice now. I really hope it took. I feel a little better about it. Nova, I feel pretty good about. So for those of you that don't know, when it comes to goat breeding, it's basically called driveway breeding, and it's literally it kind of is what it sounds like. And it's usually like a multiple breeding scenario where the guy has more than one opportunity to get the job done. I think that works. And depending on the age of the buck and kind of, on the doe, it kind of depends. But yeah, I feel pretty good about about Nova. This is Mocha's turn. A sign that goats are in heat is they get really loud, and Mocha has always been pretty quiet. I did do a cedar, so I know that she should be in heat. I follow the directions. Which is, what can you do? Anyway, she was loud all morning, which Nova was loud all morning the other day. That's kind of normal for Nova in heat, but for Mocha in heat to be that loud, I'm really hoping for a success this first go. The buck that she is going on a date with is, I know he's at least a 2-time show champion, but we call him Fancy. He's the fanciest of the 3. The one that Macchiato, hers is younger. Now Macchiato is still considered a yearling. She's about a year and a half. And so I didn't want to breed her with a full-size buck. Really, I didn't want her to get hurt. Now Mocha, she is a full-size, so we are going full-size. This should be the biggest of the boys also. It'll be a very interesting thing. But I'm a couple minutes away, so I will update after. Okay, so I'm frozen. They got the job done, I hope. It was cold. It's 28 degrees out according to my car. My little cheeks are red and I'm cold. But they got her done. Hopefully it took. I will confirm with I'll probably do a blood test. If she doesn't If she goes back into heat, then we're going to make the drive again. If she doesn't go back into heat, then I will do a blood draw. It's just a quick, like a pregnancy test. So hopefully that will be quick and easy. So hopefully with all 3 of my does being exposed to bucks, and hoping that this is my last trip. Fingers crossed. Come on, babies. But yeah, Macchiato, I should know. If she goes back into heat, it'll be next week. Nova, I feel pretty confident. Mocha was for it. Her date, Orion, he went to a show, so he got trimmed a couple months ago. He was cold, and there was grass, so they were like, ooh, grass. And it's just like, sir, ma'am. But no, they got her done. So hopefully we have a nice kidding season. If Macchiato's took, she was exposed first, we could have babies. I think her due date would be about March 31st. I would be okay with, all 3 of them for April kidding, and enough apart, at least like a week apart. That way, I don't know, I guess that's 3 weeks of anticipation instead of 1, but you can't rush Mother Nature, so fine. Anyway, we are now heading home. Okay, so I'm home. Mocha is back with Nova and Macchiato. I think she had some fun today, but doesn't like riding in the car, but she is all squared away and good. But let's talk about, because I made the comment about having bucks next year. So let's make the comment. Let's talk about it. So with the 3 goats that got bred this year, there's Macchiato, who is an Oberhasli, Nova, the mini Nubian, and Mocha, the Oberhasli. And I live in Putnam County, Indiana, which is the west central. So if you're from Indiana, if you take halfway between Indy and Terre Haute, and then halfway between Crawfordsville and Bloomington, we are almost like smack dab in the middle. But Oberhaslis aren't big around here, like not within. So let's just jump in. So Macchiato was first up to be bred. She went into heat first, and it was a 45-mile drive, which that'll come in later. So 45 miles, it was about an hour drive one way. So if we 90 miles round trip and 2 hours, which again, that's fine. And then if we do, and Macchiato did not take the first time. Oh, and this is all just as we're at now. Macchiato went on a second attempt. We got the tail end of her heat the first go, and it just didn't take. So the second one, I feel better. I feel much better about all 3 of these. The 3 that we have being in heat when they went. So I'm hoping that they're bred. I'm hoping that this is the end of my breeding season and we can jump into kidding season. So fingers crossed. That's what we hope. So this is all based on that. So Macchiato was 45 minutes away, and it cost $50 for the fee, like to breed with the buck, which if you're a goat person, it's not bad. Nova was up next. She was only 18 miles away. I am lucky where I got Tally, who's also a mini Nubian. She came from there, and Nova actually bred with her dad. And like I said, 18 miles away, 36 round trip, but it's like 20 minutes. It's a cake drive, like that one is. And Nova, man, like she knew. She wasn't taking no for an answer. That one was 75. And then Mocha, who went today, she's in the video earlier. She was 77.7 miles one way, and her stud fee was $75. So once we do total round trip miles all together so far, is quite a few miles. But the total of gas spent, and this is if we do like the average cost of gas, we divide it by like the miles per gallon my car gets, it's about 17 cents a mile, which is kind of crazy. But so far for gas, I've spent $63.14. For stud fees, I've spent $200. So up to $263.14, which really isn't horrible, pending everyone took. But here's the factor that you really should consider is the time out of your day, the time it takes. Because your time is valuable and my time is valuable. So, say for a macchiato, you've got a total of an hour and a half drive time total. No, that would be, one way. And then, let's just say an hour for the breed time, because on average, for the multiple attempts and the whatever, we'll just say an hour for easy. Bless you. So you have an hour and a half twice, 4 breeding hours. That's a weird one. 4 breeding hours. We'll just say an hour for Novas, which 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, but we'll just say load time and whatnot for all of them. And then today was probably 3.25 hours in the car. So that's 11 hours and 15 minutes in the car. That's half a day worth of driving. If we lowball ourselves at 10 hours a day, I feel like that's fair. So that's $112.50. So now, all together in our breed time, pending everything took for just 3 does, just 3, you're at $375.64. So here's the question. Is that worth having a buck next year? Would I have a buck for 2 does? Probably not. And I'm just saying like the 2 Oberhaslis with Nova being the mini Nubian and having another mini Nubian breeder so close, because I know that she has multiple bucks. But I did that this way because she has the same dad as Tally, then I kind of know which buck I've already used. Plus, she's trying to sell him because he's worked himself out of a job and is now related to most of hers. So next year, genetically speaking, I should be fine. And like I said, an hour out of my day is not a big deal. Not a big deal. But for Oberhaslis, and even if I have 2, like if Nova has a doeling, just 1, if I keep just 1, which I'm not even sure if I'm going to, but for poos and giggles, let's say we keep 1. That's close enough. I don't mind. But for Oberhaslis, and now I have to pay attention to genetics too, because Mocha and Macchiato are related. Which, if they have doelings, they won't be, but if they have bucklings, they will be. So the bucklings all have to go because they are all related. And I'm not mixing Oberhasli and Mini Nubian. So, look, I hope you're following me. And when I think I fidget a little bit. So, I would only want Oberhasli buck. But you can't have just 1 because then, they get lonely. So now I have to have 2. 2 bucks for 2 does is not worth it. But if they have any girls, I plan on keeping at least 2. I wouldn't mind having 5 doelings. Or 5 does. 4 of them would then be Oberhaslis. Now we can start playing with genetics, because if we have an unrelated buck, I feel like that almost $400, now we're getting somewhere, because I can then stud them out. A friend of mine is actually about to get Oberhasli. She's waiting until spring. She may get some of my kids. I don't know. But again, I don't want to relate it to any of mine. But that would also bring in an income. So I wouldn't have to spend $400. And I would have an income. But I would have to buy a buck. We're planning on having separate pens anyway, or pastures that are pretty good size. Plus we're doing the fence down the hill, so I feel like I can keep them separated pretty well. Oh, and we are going to build it's not really a birthing barn per se, but we're gonna do a goat barn, goat shed, goat something. And it's basically, here, we'll doodle it out. And I am not a drawer. Okay, so we have our rectangle. We're gonna have our common area, and it'll have a wall here during the winter, and then an open door here, but in the summer we'll take that off to get a nice flow. And then we'll take this and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. So when it's time for kidding season, you can't really see that, we'll have 4 individual areas so that kiddings can happen. Moms and babies can be isolated, separated, monitored. Anyway, because we have mocha and macchiato, we're calling it the coffee shop or the coffee house. I haven't decided which one, but it's going to be the coffee something. So we'll have the one that they're currently in for future bucks. But like I said, the goal is to have it finished. If all breedings were successful, the earliest due date is March 31st. Now, you know, give or take, but our goal is to have it done by March. Which, if you know anything about Indiana weather, the ground is still probably going to be frozen. So, should there be a warm where the ground isn't frozen, we are probably going to be drilling some holes or augering some holes. We're going to get some holes for some 4x6s, probably 4x6s, just because it's going to be pretty good size. I would like 10 by 20 at least. We'll see. We'll kind of go by wood costs and what we have available. We're going to have to clear trees for that, which we heat with wood, so that's no big deal. We're basically just going to cut down where we want to put the coffee house, and then we'll just pull it out of the way, let it dry until next year, and then we'll cut it for the wood. So here we waste nothing, which is, I like that. It's more sustainable. And also with having at least 4 pastures plus 1 down the hill, which is basically just a big field, but with fencing it in, and I won't leave them down there at night because of predators and things, but just to go down there like during the day and be fairly expensive lawn mowers. That's the goal. But we got off topic, so we're gonna flip back to my numbers here. So the question is it worth it? Well, if we have any bucks, I'm either gonna the goal is to sell or trade them, because again, they'll be all completely related. So I feel like that cost will counterbalance the cost of a buck. I may have to buy one. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure what Oberhasli bucks are gonna go for next year. Because I've never shopped for one. I know what many Nubian bucks go for, but I'm not entirely sure with Oberhaslis because I've never shopped for one. So I'm gonna keep my eye out on that. But I know an expensive one is like upper $400. So I can't imagine that it would be that much. And then you have to think about hay. So we won't have any fencing or housing expense for bucks. So it's really just hay, which during the summer, spring, summer, fall, I'm not foreseeing anything again with the multiple pastures and fields and down the hill. It's winter. But I'm also, again, hoping to maybe if I sell locally a doe, maybe they'll come back as a repeat for a stud. So as of now, that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. And I'm also really hoping that I don't have to go take another goat on another breeding adventure. I hope that they also, which I'm sure that's everyone, that, and just to be able to like put them together for as long as it takes and to just watch. I'm leaning towards that pretty heavily. It would just be nice, especially like I said, with to have 4 does, because that $400 this year would potentially double next year because there will be more. So for $750, I think it's definitely worth me buying 2 bucks. Yeah, it'll cost hay, but I'm hoping that convenience and stud fees will trump that. And then the fact that I don't have to worry about timing the heat cycle as much. Like this, so this year I bought cedars, the CIDR. I bought those this year and they were $15 each plus the applicator. And I bought 4 and just the one applicator, and I just sanitized it. So that's another $60, $70. Look, plus 70. Sorry, this is for when I bring it up to Jeremy of why I want a buck. I'm a very analytical person. He's gonna see it as, oh no, more to do, and I have to be like, yeah, but look how much money that it's gonna save us, or time, or trips in your car. Because yeah, I took his car today, and I mean, I cleaned it out and it's all good, but like I would like to get a trailer this spring for like 4-H shows and just goat shows in general. Nothing big, but again, the cost of them right now is very high. So I'm trying to wait it out a little. They fit in our like extra large dog crate comfortably. I've actually fit Mocha and Macchiato when I brought them back. I took 2 crates just because I wasn't sure, and they both fit fine. They can turn around. The puppies that you see, Neo and Nikita, they're Great Dane mixes of some sort. And we used to have it was actually originally it was Sherman's. He was a Great Dane lab mix. Man, he was a good dog. He was tall. See, I don't see him. They're all sleeping. He was tall like a Great Dane, but like he had Great Dane legs and like a lab body. He was like little toothpick legs. Anyway, I'll have to see if I can find a picture of him. But he was a big couch potato. And I don't think we ever even used it, but we had it. Anyway, now we use it with the goatees. Whenever they go to the vet for blood draws or whatever. And I do plan on doing pregnancy check blood work. Nova's stud owner. So Nova is bred to Jericho, Green Gables Jericho. She actually said she'd pull the blood for me. That way I didn't have to take him to the vet. So that, yay. For record's sake, let's go ahead and look. This way, if I, can't remember who bred who, I mean, I'll be able to look it up on, like, the ADGA. Oh, thanks, Nick. Oh, Nick just brought me, we have all of our past dogs in our laundry room / mud room / catch-all. It's kind of like my dog decorating room, but that's like where the dog food and stuff. Anyway, we have pictures of all of our old dogs from the past. So this is actually Sherman. And the size does not do him justice because he was a big boy. Well, there's little legs. Oh, he was a good boy. Anyway, I don't remember. Oh, we're going to talk about who bred who in case I forget or don't feel like looking it up. So Mocha is bred to, and look again, pending. Mocha is bred to Orion. Nova is bred to Jericho, and Macchiato is bred to Godfrey. And I will put pictures and like their long name. So Mocha's boyfriend, Nova's boyfriend, Macchiato's boyfriend. I'm kind of amused at that. Anyway, so that's it. So if you're debating on getting bucks, and like I said, there's a lot to consider with bucks because they have to have their own separate space. They do have the buck smell. There's rut you need to consider. Oberhasleys are pretty docile. Would I want a Nubian buck? Originally, I thought about it just for making breeding easy. But I think I want to go to Oberhasleys. That way I can just switch generation and then kind of like rotate them out. So like year one, I'll use, look, buck one for these two, buck two for these two, and then I can kind of switch or go all one. Look, buck one with all four, and then year two, buck two for all four, and then use that buck for the original four. See, there's so much to play with genetics, and without seeing what the bucks offer, I would hate to try to make a plan without seeing any of the past dams or. So on that note, I'm going to finish my cup of coffee at 7:30. Isn't my cup cute? It's got doggies. It's a doggies with sweaters and bandanas. Anyway, so yeah, that is my breeding plan for 2022, possibly the beginning of 2023. So I hope you had fun with me today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And Thanksgiving, when I post this, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. So I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving and minimal family drama, and that everything tastes wonderful and that you enjoy your time. So until next time, bye.